Alright, 아산마 자주 셈기다 표현다. 내 누바의 계주로 마시오들 그 생각도 가르쳐 버렸으네. 내 자주 셈디 저기 좋아 셈제 탐지기 요모베게지 가소리 레다 뉴모와 라메바 시위기 치다디 아니 점버집이 뒤지기 나신 안데 뒤지기 나 초도 교바디 자주 셈들이 해서다. 안 로심제 탐지 동아 가소리다 지기 우와 튕기야다 사야 동야다 대니 마다이베 강하다 야능 삼류게 남 랭인 넘버 7 시럽 디기 마도비 우웨게 다 지난게 우와 세베게다 데르 미세바 침보디야 안 지게 나 자주 셈들이 해서다. 안데 네게다 조위네 시월 제바 레다 뉴몽을 주비게 셈기 저 류기 나자다 아니 녀몽의 가서 나지 균녀몽바디게 세와지고 저도 교바디야 장주심들이 해서 당한서 그생다 장주심께 계주다 윤제 뉴바디는 시월에 해서 그것이 이걸 쉬루하나.
Good evening. So we're continuing to look at a part of the text where the qualities and the benefits of bodhicitta are being reiterated. And in the 6 lines we looked at last week, there are 3 analogies given. So we saw how bodhicitta has the capacity to eradicate the Lord of Death, where the Lord of Death is what symbolizes what causes us to take repeated rebirth without any control in the suffering realms of samsara, namely our afflictions together with their seeds. So bodhicitta can eradicate this Lord of Death. So too, bodhicitta can eradicate the poverty that causes beings to suffer, the poverty of a lack of knowledge and skill in how to transform their minds and eradicate the afflictions together with their seeds. And so too can bodhicitta eradicate the illnesses that torment beings so. And again, what torments beings so is the afflictions. And as bodhicitta, that too can lead all beings to heal from the afflictions. Tonight then we'll look at the 3rd and 4th line of the 30th verse. It is also a tree that provides rest for migrators exhausted from wandering on the paths of samsara.
다시레 참신 두바이 시데 시바 코발레아 지게 참신에서 바직직을 개발해 봐서 시레 참신 두바이 시데다 디마 능아 주게 가브리엘 둔조레 개발해 이제 두바시도 강아 용화데 세월 강아 쳐봐서 나시 강아도 지상 데네게 안롤레 나손레 개발해 데는 바직 동아 강아 먹고 녀 동아 녀 안데는 마야 지 이다를 개발해 되네게 동안요하다. 되네 냐와를 개녀외 동안요야. 아양 가브리엘야 되네야 타르체냐 밀리게 개발해 미 아니 제게 갑지나 동안용고에 되게다. 대할 할리 개발해 되네게 아니 제게야 리 땡기 동안용고에 돼. 되네게 시베 코발파 대바직 다 타보마도 봐도야 진이시네 개발해 직레 개발해 가브리엘 둔도야 가브리엘 냐와 가브리엘 밀레 가브리엘 할리 개발해 주도시네 시바 참세 도시 진내지 도시는 안주기 도시는 개발len제 다디 가발렌바 있나야 녀와 개발렌바는 녀외 동안용어요 dunro 개발은 dunro기 동안용어요 이달라 개발은 이달기 동안용어 밀리게는 미 동안용어요 살게는 레이 동안용어에서 나신 두바 소리네게 나신 두바 되네게 좋아 되네가 동안용어를 해서지 내 디심으로 실리 참신 두바이.
Starting what for us is in English the final line, exhausted from wandering on the paths of samsara. So this line reminds us of the lived existence, or the existence that we have lived up to this point, ourselves and all other ordinary beings. Sometimes, like in this life, we're born as a human, but we experience problem after problem, difficulty upon difficulty, no lasting peace. And in lives previous to this, we would have been born in perhaps as humans or perhaps as other beings, perhaps as an animal, and there too experiencing suffering, or born as a spirit, again experiencing suffering and problems, or born in the hell realms where the suffering is incomparable. And perhaps, and there would have been some rebirths as gods, where the pleasures of our greater, yet being still suffer. So here for us, the fourth line, this wandering on the paths or migrating on the paths of samsara shows how from life to life to life, we have continued to be bound in these suffering realms of samsara, never attaining lasting respite from suffering.
Jilaga Mongo, Jacale, Becale, Nimasawi, Gilia, Nilagale, Tawashu, Jacanga, situated that Junshin Chimbo, Siribus, Dual Badin, then Jictus, Siribus, the Jambo, Lumia, Silver, Legend, Jigge, Delala, Mesukatur, but Naso said the Ganga, Nal said the Ganga, Ganga the Patch, Maganga de Ma, Yech, and them, Jickus Lucemia, just Delala, Chick. Digile so was ngal so said ngal said ganga de ma ja che and de wo digidia ya che de ngal so si ro cha odina shin da ngal so si du jisada gabrielia ji de ne ki khoye dunga nyo du che de le ya du de ne ben ngal so le ki de ben ngal so dunga ni de ne jan shu sem ba nam ge jan shu sem gyu le ki de ge jan shu sem ba de yi ge ani shen le pa ba zhe wang gi Denigi and the chick dendrola tariagi, Masola Giwadi, dendrola gimo, and Ansula Giagi, Tariag, and the Lamdun Yamlenji, Lapchin, Denigi Tapchin, Deni Giwa Chima, Chicket, Mangasola Makiwa, dendrola Giagi, Giwala, and the Twingi, Giwa, Giu, Giagi, Tablamji, Deniki Odu, and the Gare, Mansunga Dungadiki Pa, Manuaje, and Lamiki Digiro, Nodugura, Dungala Naso, Naso said, Chisan Chanshu Sem Digi, Chanshu Sem Banamgi, Chanshu Sim Gula Kiava, Chanshu Sim Gula Kiodu, Chanshu Sem Di Ongukunia Laje Semjen, Tangandru, Malsum Dungale, Taneya, and the Jigge, Lamiko Pala Guia, the Digi Yoshuya, and no Kowal body, your Kowal Hada Mida, Man Desulia, Lam Yamling Rimba Dengen, and the Kowe Dungala Tarjania, and Tarbata, Tamjikim Kovala, Gueva, Goyodu. Then I saw as a Korea Dungale, Dunga, Yondeva, Telepa, Gangadi, Seja, and the Diki Toba, Chigor, Digas, Janju Sim Jiwa, Janju Simgi Java, Janju Simdi, Junshin Nashi, Jeza Janju Simgi Tule, and the Konzutua, the Nigga Ganga Yuan, the Ganga, Rananga, Gangale, Nasung Gangale, Seja, and Dendro, Dendro, Korea Dunga, Tadalepa, Seja, Tarbata Tamjikim Kovala Gugores, Niko was at the Junshin said, doing us with Junshin said Janshi Simdela.
And for the fourth line in the Tibetan, our third line, it's a bodhicitta is also a tree that provides rest for migrators. So a bodhisattva being with bodhicitta in their continuum, their very purpose of existing is to help those less fortunate, to help those still wandering in the suffering realms of samsara, wandering on the paths of samsara. So the bodhisattva then here plays a role that is likened to a tree. So if we imagine when days when we've been laboring outside in the sun, perhaps working in the garden, when one rests under the cooling shade of a large tree, our body and mind slightly more at ease after the laboring in the sun. So bodhicitta, in the mind of the bodhisattva, enables the bodhisattva to act in a way that guides beings to develop good qualities and thereby gain better rebirths. For example, if they're born in the lower realms, helps beings to gain rebirth in the higher migrations, as well as in the higher migrations to help beings, the bodhisattva with bodhicitta on the continuum, helps guide beings to create virtue, so that they remain in the high realms. So in this way, the bodhisattva is able to guide beings to experience ever less suffering. And in this way, the bodhicitta on the mind of the bodhisattva is likened to a tree that provides rest for migrators. So the bodhicitta on the continuum of the bodhisattva here is what is likened to this tree that provides rest for migrators. And Delia, Coronia, Denigi Nuboy, that Tarbata Tamje Kimbo, Gobon Toyagi, Tarbato going Lamyam Jiba, go Nubo using the Tarbigo, Lamyam Jiba, then Yams to Lenjoya, Tarbico Pony, Nico Topjuya. Then a Delia and the Jig, Nuba Choy, the Janju Sim Yam Jeg, Nuba Yuganzola, and the Jam Nijel of the Janju Sim Yam Jiba, Yamsu Lenjo, then a ya, Sanje, Janju Sim Pabio Govala Goya, and Sanje Govalia. Go by China do go on do, then and do Korea do Male, the Camje, do a yon about it, the Tarchin, a chick mom by the Yon Moyagi, Denigi Chagu Banza, the Drew Dunga so Kovale, Camje, Ganga Chabadi, Ganga Dile Seche, Sigores, Jizadi Sevadi, Janju Semgi, Janju Semio Banza, Janju Semgi, Di Kingi, and Wadola Yamlan Rimba Tempache, Seva Jabainza. Jessemida, Drew Dunga, Koala Dunga, Campe, Ganga Segida, Lam Yase, Jen, Zod, Tapti, Tapcho to Gubadida, Jessem de Re, said Donna Disumwarda. When bodhicitta, uncontrived bodhicitta, aspiring bodhicitta newly arises in the mind of a being, that being then is suitable to be called a bodhisattva, suitable to be called a child of the Buddhas. Then, with uncontrived bodhicitta present in their continuum, everything they do is focused on benefiting others. And the way the bodhisattva will express their bodhicitta is widely varied, in that there is no being that the bodhisattva would not consider dear and in need of their assistance or worthy of their assistance. And similarly, there is no situation that a bodhisattva would view and think this helping in this way is not worthwhile. A bodhisattva will help whomever they can in whatever way they have the capacity to help. So therefore, where a bodhisattva can help a being temporarily overcome even a slight suffering, a bodhisattva will do so. If a being is suffering in the lower realms, lost and unable to create causes of virtue, nevertheless, if the bodhisattva can help ease their suffering, the bodhisattva will do so. In whatever way the bodhisattva can help, whomever the bodhisattva can help, they will be there. And the primary goal, the primary purpose or objective of the bodhisattva, though, is to guide beings to bring a lasting end to suffering, to guide beings so that they no longer wander on the paths of samsara, but to build the connection with a being and for that being to have the sufficient causes to be able to progress towards actual liberation or enlightenment. That being needs to create many causes, and the bodhisattva will help them. And in this, their activities of helping, they will help that being experience less problems and less difficulties so that they can cultivate the causes that will help them gain excellent rebirths, and in particular, when they're ready, to guide them to progress towards liberation. And for those beings for whom their bodhisattva, their Mahayana lineage can be ripened, the Bodhisattva will help those beings to actually generate bodhicitta and progress towards enlightenment. The principal goal of the Bodhisattva is to guide beings to attain Buddhahood. But in order to do so, the Bodhisattva will help all beings in any way possible with this goal of either, where they can, temporarily reducing suffering, but primarily striving to help beings bring an end to their wandering on the paths of samsara. And to bring this about, the generation of bodhicitta is the very best of techniques.
Tadi samba korangi shen semjengi jodun jeje shen liya pemba chuktangi tadi dhyana janshi semdere sat sungurwa. Sinadi nanshin da pena rang susu rang ine janshi samba korangi ne ko nyama ne pa nyawa da yida da dunro da dine ko mangu chi kora kebche kanga shiu shin dunga mangu nyoro wada nyoma sa dire dine da mi dendyoge chi ngondyo ko bang tobyo de dendelya da janshi sem 지게 lama 지 퇴섬 곰숨 제네 janshusem gyula kye den nyamlen chebala dene da dusheye de masoda ngasoda dene ke koyo dunga de gi ganga de nyo mowa che dene ke ngaso wa resa che dene da janshusem de jenshe na she di wol de hen jenshe wol de hen janshusem ba koron jen inza janshusem ba koron ya dene ke ganga de ke le sewa di sui chebala chen janshusem de chebala Koran janshi semje de Koran gyula nyamlengi janshi sem gyula gewa inza andigi denegi ndwe skowale gewi kowegi dungadi ge be ji dunga nyomo wache ngaso di ngore sechi.
So in this analogy, bodhicitta itself is likened to this tree. One can imagine it being a large tree with thick branches providing lots of cooling shade. So that tree is developed in the continuum of the bodhisattva. So the bodhisattva, therefore, is abiding continuously in the cooling shade that bodhicitta provides. The bodhisattva, then, their mind is open, vast, and spacious. Their mind is not being tormented by suffering. And therefore, their capacity to give is expansive, because they are not being tormented by suffering. And they thereby can invite and encourage and guide limitless beings to come under the protection of this cooling shade of this tree of bodhicitta, and thereby provide, for some, just very temporary, short-term respite from suffering. For others, slightly longer respite from the sufferings of samsara. And for others, whilst abiding under the protective umbrella or the protective shade of the bodhisattva can guide them to attain liberation or even enlightenment. In other words, the bodhisattva can guide them to generate bodhicitta in their own continuum. So in this way, bodhicitta not only protects that bodhisattva from suffering, but enables the bodhisattva to help so many others.
나는 마 디네 디나지 다 나로 지바지바를 해네 안 좋아 탐지 만들래 좋은 집에 지대긴 저위 녀모 두세비 셈게 다와 샤와 인스 데스네 숨거와.
The 31st verse then presents further analogies with a similar meaning. It is the universal bridge that liberates all migrators from the lower realms. It is the moon that rises in the mind, soothing the torment of migrators' afflictions.
다 좋아템지 만들래 좋아지비 지대인 다 지바래 다 좋아 다그 배로 지자나르지 배 지거로데 계시를 파가자 송을마도 돈다를 지바를 책도와 가서는 로와 탐제 간로를 세든 로와 심제 탐제 따지비 간로 냐와 이다 둔로라 소바 인게네 안디 동아 용어제 드네 강아 몽부에도 강아들에 타고 와 되는사 로와 탐제 간로를 로완제베 지대인 세드 지산 전주섬디 다 로와 심제 탐제 간로를 줘야지 연로와 제베게다 로완제베게 탑람디 인사지 지대 인사지 탑람 인사지 고고르다 지대사네 지랑 지대라는 마사마 주바제 야자에 될 때라 고로와 지상은 주디 만줄이야 되니게 도치네 자자서 조스들 조스 대학시고로 대학시고로 지다디 마사마 주바제 야자샤바자 대학시고로 지상 전주심기 전주심규라게 전주심규 군이라 샹리아 남된지죠 콘도 코위에 가송을 파기 맞주바지 가송에 기 맞주바지 근데 야 덴트를 야 기주바인자 대학시로 지자 되니게 대학시로 지자 지대기 있으다 semjen jidea sida semjen tamje niring meba semjen sudu suyina chasan ngandro le gyoba chebege ngandro le gyobchi ya dendro le ya gyoba chebege tablam sida da jidea sida tablam chodu yubadere sari kogore.
The analogy here changes, but the meaning remains the same. It is a universal bridge that liberates all migrators from the lower realms. So migrators who are bound in the lower realms, desperate for respite from their suffering, in order for them to be able to, for the Bodhisattva to be able to guide these beings to liberation and enlightenment, the Bodhisattva first needs to guide them to gain a better rebirth, a rebirth as a human or God, because it's better in particular as a human, where one can develop the qualities of the path in one's mind. So therefore, bodhicitta plays the role of a universal bridge. So this term bridge can be likened to either a bridge that one utilizes to cross over something, or it can be translated as a step by which one rises from one place to another. And so this is the role that the bodhicitta plays as a bridge or a stairway by which beings can be brought or guided rather up into the higher realms. And it's universal in that, and this term universal then refers to the bodhisattva's attitude of impartiality, where the bodhisattva will help anyone. The bodhisattva will not discriminate, seeing some as more worthy than others, but whomever the bodhisattva can help, the bodhisattva will do so. And in this sense, the bridge or stairway is universal. So through bodhicitta, then bodhicitta is the method, bodhicitta is the method by which the beings are lifted from the lower realms to the higher realms, where they can cultivate the qualities that will lead to liberation or enlightenment.
Zana draw jibe jidegi is the draw simjen yang ansole ge ma juba che ansole ma ge ma juba ya delia tarche and dendrole go bar chi go re se janshu semdegi ji go re chesan janshu semgi dushin ji janshu semgi gen je andi janshu ansole simjen ko wala ge ma juba jo kaso ansole ge ma juba je ansole ya tarche ya dendrole ya go bar chi go re se chesan jidegi is rowa chepa kawali rowa chepa ngansoli pa zhuye che ane kawali ya kya sha gore sine je ngansoli pa zhuwa ma zhuye che dendroli ya kya ki chu gore se jitiak se di ondu shino ko sarvada jitiak se di ya kanchili ngansoli pa kya di la pa ka che dili ya dendroli ya gui gore se che.
The imagery to come to mind is the bodhisattva using their bodhicitta as a universal bridge to liberate beings from their current rebirth in the lower realms to gain a rebirth in the higher realms, as this then can be the foundation or the basis upon which they can gain liberation from the suffering realms of samsara. So in particular here, the understanding is that the bodhisattva will guide beings so as to gain liberation or to gain rebirth from the lower realms into the higher realms.
지대 세디 주어 집에 람 세디 차상을 주어 집에 람 세디래 고추고래 지단 곧그 코와던 안조던 쿠유 동아 타다래 마 안디 딜레 줘야지 야 안 탈바다 탐지기 몇 고판에 줘야래야 람야래스 띵냠수 렘발에 되네 근데 샘자 탐주 쿠유 동아래 줘야지 안에 야 상기요 고판 토와라 디 냠수 렘발에 되네 톱고에서 근데 좋아 샘자 탐지 코유 동아래 줘 상기요 고판 토와라 안에 상기요 고판 줘네 상기요 고판 토바 집이게 람 지대 람야 is 좋아 집에 람 is.
Whilst this bridge, that is the bodhicitta, is what by which the bodhisattva guides beings from the lower realms to the higher realms, it is also what the bodhisattva utilizes to help beings develop bodhicitta in their own continuum and thereby progress towards liberation from the suffering realms of samsara. So thereby one can understand this universal bridge as being, whilst in this analogy primarily lifting beings from the lower realms to the high realms, but also enabling them to progress beyond the suffering realms of samsara entirely.
전주선바 남기 로 가서 펜버 줍세기 추 가서 전륜 줍세기 코와 샘전을 바자는 전신세지 시행바 나 전주선바 코롱을 야자전에 되는 전신세대 이 배로 가서 된다로 이해로와 어디나시 나한테 지대긴 세대야 전주선바 코롱게 현리야 펜버 줍세 최시 냠는 제주제 코외 동아를 봐 이게 마주바제 된돌이야 이게 된돌이야 꿰바텔라 아니 지대긴 세지 지대세대 지sem전 탐제 고영아 송고 고알 줘야지야 루마의 원소를 끼마 주바제 안 된돌이야 끼주바도 샤 자고서 지대에서 고 제도 집이 되자랑이야 즉 도시네 제네 셰바나 아직 도시 셰데다 좋았습니다 탐제 안주길래 끼마 주고 안주려야 줘야지 된돌라 깨버지고래 전주sem되게 제자야 만들을 깨야까지 되려야 깨고르지 가와야 샤고르신 된돌이야 깨고르세지 그래서 된줄로 꾸고르세지 꾸고르와다 지대해야 돼.
The previous analogy, the bodhicitta in the continuum of the bodhisattva was likened to a tree that not only protected the bodhisattva from suffering, in that the bodhisattva with bodhicitta on their continuum was always in the cooling shade of the body of bodhicitta, but the bodhicitta also was able to bring beings into that same cooling shade, whereby they could gain temporary and eventually lasting respite from suffering. Here in this analogy, bodhicitta is likened to a bridge by which the bodhisattva guides beings from the intense suffering of the lower realms to the relatively far better higher realms, more pleasurable higher realms. So that here the bodhicitta is likened to a bridge that primarily leads all beings without exception from lower realms to higher realms.
좋았음제 탐제 ngason 코르웨 ngando당 코르웨 동아를 줘야지 상기 고보 토발라 전주심 냠수 림베 토네 상기 고보 토는 마도 신 전주심 냠수 말렘바 귤레마케바 상기 고보 토야기니 메르바 메바서 좋았음제 탐제 코르웨 동아를 줘야지야 상기 고보 토발라 전주심 냠수 림베 토네 전주심 귤레게제 디냠 심비토네 냠내지 산조고바 토고거지다 고발을 줘야지 탈비고바 탐지기모고바 토발라 전주심 냠수 렘발에 되네 냠 람디 냠는 제발에 되네 산조고바 토고고요 반자데 좋았음자는 양안줄에 되지 산조고바 토비게 람 지대감 지 람디 냠는 제지 심자 탐지 냠는 제고에게 다 람디리 해야지 조디리 스티메나 되네스네 람 가르냠는 집에나 산유고모 토투에 메르와 메반자다 심제 탐제 고유 동아를 줘야지 산유고모 토발라 람 전주심din 做姑娘啦，第年人接把的呢，透过在几点意思，这样咱们是连别团的些把那的呢，就学说了吧。
In the previous illustration of the tree, there again, bodhicitta is likened to a tree, and its cooling shade benefits both the bodhisattva, and through the bodhisattva's endeavors, the cooling shade benefits other beings. So there, in that analogy, we see clearly that bodhicitta benefits both the bodhisattva and all other beings. And we should also then understand the universal bridge in a similar way. That's whilst the universal bridge, or this bodhicitta likened to universal bridge, serves to lift beings, serves primarily to lift beings from the lower realms to the higher realms. The bodhisattva is already abiding in the higher realms. They utilize the same bridge, being bodhicitta, the same universal bridge, to progress towards enlightenment, as well as then guiding others to develop bodhicitta, their own universal bridge, by which they will help others and they themselves will progress towards enlightenment. So the analogy of the universal bridge and the tree applies to the bodhisattva herself, as well as those that she is able to interact with and guide to liberation. And this is because in order to become a Buddha, it's imperative that bodhicitta is generated. Without generating bodhicitta, one cannot be a bodhisattva, and one cannot attain enlightenment without being a bodhisattva. So therefore, we see that bodhicitta benefits both the bodhisattva as well as all sentient beings equally.
Semjian come down mebal tumbike horon le chue den ane semjian kashi ane kuji korwe dunga ngasong dunga le gyopche ya ane ngondio ko pala ku gore semjian thai kashi ane jigyang korwe dunga le ta gyopche ya tarba le tarbi ko pala ku gore nyande da ra yalam le kushi ya dus chine han jiga semjian kashi ri kashi ya ane taba chimbi chue nyamlen den chine ane ya janju simlia janju sembal ya lamliya ku dine nyamlen chebala dine ya sangi ko phaliya ku go re che jezada janshi semdigi duschin ku go jeza janshi semdi da semja thamjigi nyomo dunga seje bes jigi digil ko ba yanza digi lele chagi digi yung go ba zanda ngason ngawi dunga le dunga dile pha shi che ane kaso de ngasu go re 전시 나지 가서 지고래 해야지 비전시를 빼지 하시 더 전시되게 가서 소화 집에 나지 야 어디야 양 디나신다 전주 근데 다 디샤야세 전시 뭐 코로나 좀 다비네 전시 뭐 코로나니래 전시 마기니라 되냐와 제를 둔조라 제를 다다 밀리 제는 동안 봐도 매번요래 되네 되네서 코로 전시 좀 길에 제어도 디냠는 제발에 되네 아니 되네게 가서라 제 먹어 동화 되게세 되네 인코르와를 게 먹어 되네야 지 이제 요즘 검진이야 지금 네바 체체 저희도 근데 코르행 가서래게 코와래게 먹어 봐 되네 도시네 차네 다른 산유고바 토부 걸 제사 전주 쌤들이 가서 소소이네야 되네가 코르비 동안 빠도면 용어에 봐 겹제 는 델레 동안 탈진 가서 봐 집에 지거래 해서지 전신이 세대 쌤제 또 체리지 두자다 코로나니가를 도시네 전신이 빼잖아요. 나 어디야 나지가 빼자로 쇼세나 데디마 때다 삼바이 빼자세 뉴다 돈달라 그래서 샘징에 되는 제다 소소라니 근데 거기 동아달 저제 산유고 토에 지바래도 저다 지바래 이내다 빼전에 때를 봐 빼자 람다 때를 빼자제 지산다 전주섬에 전주섬바디게 전주섬길에 냠는지는 샘자 탐제 동아자단 디기 된다게 주ял이야 안 샘자 그러다라 뭐보다 샘비게 최대 냠소 렌주제 나는 코웨 동안 마송의 동안을 줘야다 나는 코웨 동안을 줘야지 근데 야 탈바다 탐지게 말라 그거 지고 제산 디기 전주섬 디기 디기엔전도 제반자 전주섬디 혼자마 마솔다 코웨 동안에 마 롱마 주바제 근데 야 야진야다 지게 된저다 탈비고 관에 계고를 해서 떼악세야지 도신 체드시에 두절 맞아셔 다 소소라나 자셔는 지사다님만 ngaso de nyome ne janju sim de gyula ki sawe chele ya ta gansa su de suyi na janju sim de gyula ki ne ane khorwe ngaso nge dunga le de ne khorwe dunga le je tar lamdi lam di nyam so lem ba le de ne ane che sanjo ko ba to bo re che zan chi janju semba semjan tham je sanjo ko ba to ba la lam nyam so lem ba gi janju sem nyam so lem ko ne ane sanjo je ba sanjo ko ba to bo we za nan chi de re se chi de se de zhuo ji be lam ji ba cha san che hui de re se de odu shin de ji de da ran da xian ni ga pa jia xie de da don da la bie jia sa de jun xie da ji de ni li ya bie jia ka ga ma do ji ge da zhuo tang lu ji ba le.
In order to generate bodhicitta in one's own continuum, one will have already given rise to the wish to be of real value in the lives of others, to be of great benefit to others, and to be able to help others in accordance with their own unique personalities, their own karmic backgrounds. This will be the determination of the practitioner to become a Buddha. So therefore, when one has generated bodhicitta, then one will help beings in accordance with their own dispositions, their own inclinations. Some beings are more suited right now, depending on their karmic imprints, just to guidance, to a good rebirth. Others already have the karmic imprints, whereby they can be guided towards their own individual liberation, whereas others still can be guided to generate bodhicitta themselves. And furthermore, there will be others who are bodhisattvas, and they can be guided to progress towards enlightenment. So the bodhisattva will be striving to help all beings perfect or as best they can in accordance with their own karmic predispositions. And these two analogies that we've had thus far, likened first bodhicitta being likened to a tree, and secondly to a bridge, we should understand that this refers, the benefit that comes through bodhicitta is experienced both by the bodhisattva as well as by all those that the bodhisattva interacts with. So the analogy, both analogies have the same meaning, but they have slightly different points of emphasis. So the illustration of the tree emphasizes how bodhicitta plays the role as being a respite from suffering, and a respite for suffering both for the bodhisattva, who is not likely to fall to the lower realms ever again, and is dominated by wholesome, virtuous minds. And also, though, this bodhicitta here in this analogy likened to the tree, it encourages beings or guides beings to gain both temporary and eventually lasting respite from suffering. In the analogy of the bridge, whilst again the meaning is the same as the analogy of the tree, it emphasizes that through bodhicitta, beings are guided from a more troubled state to an improved state, and eventually to a state freed of suffering. So for the bodhisattva herself, when bodhicitta is generated, with the analogy of the bridge, potential rebirth in the lower realms for the bodhisattva is closed. But the bodhisattva and moreover the bodhisattva through helping others, guiding them along the universal bridge from lower realms to higher realms and from higher realms towards enlightenment. In that way, the bodhisattva, through that method, the bodhisattva herself is also walking along or progressing along this universal bridge towards her own enlightenment. So thereby, from these two analogies, understand that the meaning really is the same. They have their different points of emphasis. And a further key point is that bodhicitta benefits both the bodhisattva and all those beings that the bodhisattva encounters.
And then, Zhuyu Nyomo Dung Sewe Semye Dawa Shawa Yin Sen Da De Yang Jang Shu Sem De Dawa Le Pe Chia Shin Sung Go Ru Da Dawa Le Pe Chia Shin. Zhuyu Nyomo Dung Sewa Se De Nga Zu Zhuo Sem Jen Dung Wa Se De Ganga Che Pa Si Go Ru Da. Zan Da Ganga De Su Che Chu Wa Se Nyomo Be Ganga Che Go Re Se Ru Da Nga Zu Lia Decha, Kondo, Aya, Mariba, Siduda, Yomoba, the Yomoba Sigura, the Nuka, the Jibara, Yundip, the Shirip said in Yungorwa, she's a Yundip said, and Yomoba is Sungore. She's not done on the Dunga, the Yomo, Dunse was, to a Simjan Tam, Jeda Dunga, Noy, get all did that, so Sugula, Decha, Kondo, Aya, Di Geche, and Di answer Gay, and then answer Yakanga Kanga Sugores. And dinashinda, Denigi Yomo body year, Di Wangi, that Kondo Geda, Gayode, and Shala Nova Jabata. Jashaki Shala Nova Jabala, so Gedo, and the Liang and Basa, Lady Wangida, not Jing, Nasola Gation, Dunga Yoa de Shagores, Chazan the draw Simjan Tam, J. Dunga Yoa again, Yudia, Yomo Badere, Yomo Wangi, and the J. Dunga Yungore. Then Yomo but the Gula Gio, then Coron Yudi government, the Gio, then the Gangachico, Chazan is a Rosim Janaja, Ganga Jag, Yuzo, the Yudi, the Sujigo, Yomo but the res, Yomo but Dungores, and Yomo but Gangachigores, then the Nima Sawal Baji, Kilo gentleman, she would Nimet Gangachig and Sudas and Yudi Nima Chadio. She said Nima Nashi, Nima Sawa Nashi, Yomo Batiki, Pa Drevi. Nyomo dung sewas in dung ganga jigores or Drevi Nyomo dung said ganga jigores or that.
So here, the bodhicitta is now continuing in the 31st verse. Bodhicitta is likened to the rising moon. It is the moon that rises in the mind, soothing the torment of migrators' afflictions. So we start in English with the fourth line. So we see, once again, what causes our suffering is the afflictions. This and this alone is the cause, or what causes all our pain and anguish. Whenever an affliction arises, it destroys our own inner peace. And when we express those afflictions, we harm others too. So in this way, it's the afflictions that torment migrators, from the root afflictions of ignorance, as well as the resulting attachment and anger, and all other forms of afflictions, such as jealousy, pride, competitiveness, and so forth. These all cause pain. And in order to gain, so the obscurations that one needs to eventually abandon are divided into two: the obscurations to liberation and the obscurations to omniscience. Here, particularly, the obscurations to liberation, the afflictions, are being referred to. And these, in this analogy, we can imagine, again, being outside in the blazing heat. That blazing heat causes our pain. This causes us to suffer. And that, in this analogy, is likened to the ripening or the arisal of the afflictions within. They destroy our own inner happiness, and when expressed, they bring suffering to others too.
Denigida Dungaji, Sewa Chevadi, Suchigores, and Dinomobe Dungaji, Sewa Chevadi, Dunganyo, the Dungaseja, Suja, Semge, Tawashawa, and Semlia, Azu Sem, Yula, Ye, that Janjusim, Yukunia, Lange, and Azu Casore, Yamlanche, the Negatovi, Dungayo, you, Yomo, the Sego, yes, Bango, yes, to Singorada.
Whereas the third line, it is the moon that rises in the mind. So bodhicitta is often likened to the cooling light of the moon, whereas the afflictions are likened to the burning sunlight in the heat of the day. What eases, or what causes the burning sunlight of the afflictions to subside is the cooling light of the moon. Bodhicitta soothes the mind that has been so tormented by those afflictions.
Siroshi Shara Dus, Chig Sirtini Chara, Niango Nimike Tsaviki, Tsavi Dunga de Pa, Chig Sechene, the Lulia, and Jiggy Dunga, Sayu Dunga, Yonpa, Sage, and then Giurashi, sitting the Yichungo, which is the Davi Shayo, which is not the Beros Dirwa. That then on the Betty, the Betty in the Shungo, Berwada.
The imagery that should come to mind here is imagining the relief when, after being tormented by the heat of the afternoon sun, the cooling moonlight will be so welcome. So that's the imagery that should come to mind.
Semge dawa shawa yin je janju semge dawa se dawa khurang se de janju sem de la dawa se ming da je di shawa se de di gi yin che ne se go wa da di gi yin che ne janju semge yula jie je janju semge yin ji tab di yin che ne an zhuo sem je tam je gu dong yong ye gu dong yi de ge gu nyom mo ba de ge pa se wa ji go le se go le je le da den da ti song lo.
The meaning is that bodhicitta, which is likened to the moon, is the method in dependence on which the afflictions that torment being so will be eradicated.
Jisanda Janshu Sim Gunia, the Janshu Sim Gula Kiesa, the Janshu Sim Gunia, the Jansim Janamje, Dunga said, and Digi the Jawa, Digi Demba, the Dunga de Se Hu Sebeda, Dunga Se Tablam, Nyomo, Nyembo, Jika, Dinche, Nyamsu Linju or Watakaje, Pena Jigi, Jigi So Juvala Sobada, Tildun Tama, Tizubla Soba, Denegi, and Shen Yukumo Guashi Ganga. Bendigo Guduga somebody Nyomo Badawada, Shen Yu Jalala, Chadil Guduga, Shanla, Sojuba, Deba, Shen Yu, and the Jay Jun Shepherd Deba, Deni, Samlochas on Nyomo Chadirova, Dibarova, Chazan Di Nyembotilia, and the Carding was in Nassim Janjusim Biggie, Machines, Deni Simjan Digelia, Chichu Dujetigelia, and the Chitsurum Songoya, Surum Songore Sada, and the Chimbiniam Jewel Sada, Sevacom Gore Sada, Dusnium Leche. And the Anjin Dushin Jamba Kumgure said, and the Maze, the Nyomo but the Nyomo but Zawadi, Dwaja Kondanga Nyomo to get so the Denze Marik Palet in the Kigore, just and Denze Marik Pasia, the Nyempo, Dame Pati, just not Dame but Dame to be Sheriff Kumgure, said the Dame Namshet, then she Hiner to that, the thing is in Rukore, said the dinner boost in Jimba Suru Yamlenda, and the thing is in Shine, something called Malo Jonte, then Dame Okoshi, Dame Tochu, then Dinyams of Lenjuje, then Gomba, then Gomio, and the Kashi, Tarbo Water, Tarbo Toy, doing your mobile do want to Lesewada, Secura, then and then Anyams of Lenja Janshu Sembe, Kashi Janshu Semgulaki, then Janshu Papa, Pabio Kovato, Nyomo Bedunga, and Party Dunga Tiki Pasiada, then the San Yogo Montoy, then the Bacha de Chepa Sage, Duchene, Jizada Janshu Semgi, Gunia Lanche, Di Roalia, Nyomo Big, Nyembo, Pompi, Tablam, Nyamling, Tibetan, then Yamsu Lenju, Dinyamsu Lembalatine, and Tarbio Montoya, Montamji Kimbo Montoya, Yungugasa, and the Semgi Tawa Shawa, said Jizan Semgi Tawa, Janshu Semgi, Consulia, Jig Tunyen Jeje, and Shanlia Chutin, Shan Simjan, Dunga Joa Chigori, the Sumudwada.
So the way that bodhicitta eradicates the torment of the afflictions is, firstly, bodhicitta is present in the mind of a bodhisattva, and for that bodhisattva to have generated bodhicitta, that bodhisattva would have extensively trained her mind in terms of having looked at suffering and its causes, and thereby come to cultivate the antidotes to the causes of suffering, and develop them to the extent that they had now become a bodhisattva. So this bodhisattva is a highly skilled practitioner, and therefore they have clear understanding of why beings are suffering, namely the afflictions, and what can be done about it, how beings can gain freedom from the torment or the suffering of their afflictions. So therefore, based on the Bodhisattva's own knowledge and experience, they will firstly interact with others in a way that does not exacerbate the suffering of this ordinary being. The Bodhisattva will talk to them, act towards them in a way that does not inflame their passions, inflame their afflictions, but rather helps their mind remain a little subdued. And in dependence on the relationship they are building with this being, they will guide this being to guide them to come to recognize for themselves why it is they suffer, what causes them pain. Guide the being to recognize that all suffering comes from the afflictions. It doesn't come from others. It doesn't come from situations. It comes from one's own mistaken way of thinking. And at the very root cause of all these afflictions, the Bodhisattva will guide beings to recognize the ignorance of self-grasping. And once recognized, the Bodhisattva will guide beings in how to develop the direct antidote, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And for some beings, in dependence on their own karmic background, the Bodhisattva will guide them to cultivate the path towards individual liberation, coming to realize emptiness directly, and thereby gain freedom from suffering, eradicate the afflictions together with their seeds. For others, the Bodhisattva will be able to guide them in a similar manner, but get them to also generate bodhicitta, just like the Bodhisattva has. And thereby, with bodhicitta, the Bodhisattva will guide this new Bodhisattva in the practices of ethics, generosity, and so forth, all conjoined now with bodhicitta, being perfections. And in particular, will also guide them in the cultivation of the wisdom realizing emptiness. Because whether a practitioner is practicing or striving for their own individual liberation or for Buddhahood for the sake of others, emptiness has to be cultivated because it and it alone is the direct antidote to all suffering. It's the direct antidote to their afflictions. So in this way, by the Bodhisattva giving rise to the moon of bodhicitta in their own mind, they can skillfully guide others to gain freedom from the torment of their afflictions.
Bang, and the Dunga Yomo, Mase Shalia, and the chip pamper to Balaya, and the Kakin Parcheti, Mavachaya, the Yungoro, Dinizada, the Changisam Coronia, Changisem, Dambo, Changisem Yamlin, Changisem Gula Kindu, Changisem Diukuni Lange, and Jigan Yamli Rimbatin by Rimbation Yak, or Gone go to pay do, the Koala Gay, Unyomo, Barana, Nebig, Unyomo, particularly.
As with the previous analogies of the tree and the bridge, bodhicitta benefits both the bodhisattva as well as all those that the bodhisattva interacts with. So when the moon of bodhicitta arises in the continuum of that bodhisattva, their afflictions will be greatly diminished, and their afflictions will not arise again like they did before, with the same strength and frequency and duration. And under the influence of the cooling rays of bodhicitta, the bodhisattva will quickly spiritually develop, accumulating extensive merits, their own understanding of emptiness will grow, and thereby their afflictions will rapidly weaken. So in this way, the bodhisattva, immediately upon generating bodhicitta, attains great benefit in terms of their own peace of mind. And as they rapidly spiritually develop, their afflictions quickly weaken. So in this way too, as the bodhisattva progresses towards Buddhahood, as their bodhicitta grows in strength, their afflictions become ever weaker, and eventually too will be eradicated.
나는 두스네 자나데도 앞인당 보들에 로아 탐제 간조려 조아 집에 지대인 세대기 마송 동안에 조아 집에 전주 샘 세대기 전주 샘이 견진의 샘전 탐제 마송 동안에 죄제 야 아니 사이 원의 고방을 야 기고레스 기고레 지다 전주 샘되기 나는 전에 되게 판바도 두 지거레스 등한 손을 봐자 단 이바디기 르유뇨모 동세비 샘게 다와 샤와인 세디다 코위 뇨모 코와 탐질레 제선다 탈바를 거야기 제선다 코위 코와를 거야기 유 뇨모 바레 제선 뇨모 비기 원게레 레사레 원게 코와기 동아 바도 메바 뇽외디 뇨모 비지고레스 제선다 전주샘바 남게 전주샘 귤라게 전주샘게 원게 샤야 안전샘자야 이제 코위기 꽤나 예전에랑 코와코의 유념모벌에 님보 남 냠수 렌주제 야 안탈벽고 활 꾸고래 예세지 운도시네 고 레레레네 마 잔소나 소야 유리베치도와 진짜 당보디기 지신이디기 안르 동안을 겨제 모두고 활 꾸고래 예세 전주sem디기 네 니바디기 안에 온코와 코위 동안 타달을 줘제 야 탈벽고 활 꾸고래 예세 심게 다와샤 이세리.
The way we can see these two analogies having a progressive relationship, the analogy first of the bridge and secondly of the moon, is that bodhicitta, when likened to a bridge, it's for the bodhisattva themselves, closes the door to them falling into the lower realms, but more importantly for the bodhisattva, it gives them the courage and the strength of mind and the skill to help beings, lift them up, to guide beings so that they lift themselves up from the lower realms to the higher realms. Then how that works, the relationship between the bridge and the moon, is that when the bodhicitta is likened to the moon, the cooling light of the moon is what soothes the searing blaze of the heat from the afflictions, the torment from the afflictions. So for the bodhisattva themselves, having generated bodhicitta, their own afflictions are greatly reduced. And because there's the strength and intensity of the afflictions are so reduced, the bodhisattva can easily, without much impediment, progress rapidly towards liberation, where the afflictions are eradicated. But more importantly for the bodhisattva, they have even greater skill now, having given rise to bodhicitta, to the capacity to guide other beings to abandon their afflictions completely and thereby also gain liberation. So therefore we can see a relationship between these two analogies where the bridge, bodhicitta likened to a bridge, we can understand about primarily lifting beings from lower realms to the higher realms. And then once in the higher realms, bodhicitta likened to a moon guides beings to gain liberation, to abandon the afflictions completely.
안다딘 마 드위 미셰 라브루타 지진니마 쳔보인 담주오마 수발레 마르기 니후 중화인스.
Then we come to the 32nd verse. It is the great sun that finally removes the obscuring ignorance of migrators. It is the abundant buttery essence that comes from churning the milk of the holy Dharma.
다디 타바친비게 람냠네그림발 마잘 송샤바나 다다 용서로 드위 미셰 라브루타 세드 지진 니마 쳔보인 세드 다가지 로위 미셰 라브루 세드데 시립 뇨모바 바차 다 로위 미셰베게 뇨모베 바차 마바마나 바샤기 원게다 지게 추위게 릭방부 기고래 에세데 제자다 뇨모베게 뇨모바 빵바 있나야 된데 추위 릭 마시바다 마신바다 마 추위 릭 방고야데 뇨모베게 바샤기 원게 기고래 시립기 원게 기고래 제자 드위게 조sem제 다 탐지기 시립 미시베라를 시립데 아니 ji jin nima chenpo yin zi janshu sem zi kwa, da nima chenpo, janshu sem kwa. Chesa di nyomo be jiwa bacha, nima bacha shirip di ji chen san zawa ni ma bangpa cheba, zawa ni meba soba, ji chen si de zawa ni meba soba, tengi, tenne meba che khen di, da suri zi nima chenpo, janshu sem di yin si, nima chenpo yin si. Ji jin si de zawa ni meba cheba, ji.
So look in the first two lines. It again, bodhicitta, is the great sun that finally removes the obscuring ignorance of migrators. Here then, bodhisattva, what it is utilized to eradicate are the obscurations to omniscience. So in the prior verse, with the analogy of the moon, there bodhicitta was eradicating the obscurations to liberation, the afflictions together with his seeds. Here, when the obscurations to omniscience, have the afflictions together with his seeds having been eradicated, what is left is the imprints or stains of those seeds. And these now are eradicated too by bodhicitta. And it's this final veil of obscuration that has such an obscuring impact on beings. And this word that I've translated as obscuring in other contexts, it can be translated as cataracts. So just like when one has cataracts over the eyes, one doesn't see very clearly. This is likened to the impact that the stains of the afflictions have, and this bodhicitta that finally removes them once and for all, removes the afflictions together with or removes the final trace of the afflictions once and for all.
Isanda denegi ji sine ji chin ba sine tar chin ba sa juro ji chin sine tar chin ba da de ji jin si ro isanda ji jin si de tar chin ba de jin sa ya ji ma de ba la ku ro wa jin se jin ba isanda ji jin si de 다가 지지스는 녀모바 바차단 제바 녀모 미시베 녀모바 바차단 제바 시에 가소레 시립디 자원에 바바 빵용도 안에 가르스는 진시리다 에 가서 dimie 빵바 탈시베 빵바다 안에 탈심비게 예시디게 수기기래 해서 제 예시기다 니마샤도 안에 지문바 찾아 세시네 안 지게 나와 가리나 통야를 연구로 봐 지난 지진세도 지세디 녀모 버티고 바샤데 제바 사본은 제바 빵바 빵여도 되네 빵바 탈심바 지진바스 빵바 탈심바 기고레스 되네 연된 시시 연된 야 켐바 탈심바 기고레스 제제 님의 켐보스 제제 님의 켐보 디기 도시고고레스다 제자다 간젤 녀모 베시리 바차데 시립티 빵여도 안에 지진바레스데 녀모바 시르 빵바 탈침바 다 캠비 윤된 탈침바디 중국어래서 이거래서 영국어래서 제자들 님의 첨보래서 님의 첨보 제 장주심이 경기지 영국어래지 장주심도 거래다 장주심 아 말면 장주심 거래는 님의 첨보 세대 장주심 거래지 지진세리 녀모 가서 디바 바샤데 제바 빵바 타르신비게 예 빵도 빵바디 기고레스 빵바 용고레스 지진 안에 녀모 바샤데 바바 시지 연된 가서 시지 말 남자 탐지 캠베 시대 기고레 지진세데 제가 빵바 탈도 바다 캠바 탈도 바니데 용고레스 기고레제데 디케와도 디케는 녀모 가서 디바 시리 빵제네 빵바 탈심바다 캠바 탈심바도 용고레스 지친세디 디가르신 용고레스 님의 첨보 장주심기도 용고레스 제가 장주심디 님의 첨보 나지레스 데 님의 첨보 세야데 장주심로 고르다데라.
So in this analogy, in the previous two lines, bodhicitta is likened to the moon. Here, bodhicitta is likened to the great sun, and it's the great sun in that so this term great sun refers to bodhicitta, and it, together with the wisdom realizing emptiness, finally removes the very last trace of the afflictions, namely the stains or the imprints. So the great sun of bodhicitta is what powers or gives great strength to the wisdom directly realizing emptiness, and it can finally, at last, remove the obscuring ignorance of migrators. And again, what is removed is just that slightest trace, just like a cataract's obscuring vision, removing those so that one can see with omniscient consciousness. So this is the role that bodhicitta plays here as the great sun.
내가 이제 타르침바디 연구를 했어야 돼. 제가다 되니 인자다 되니 타르침바디 간의 연구를 했어야 돼. 뒤로와도 되네. 장슈 님의 첨부 장슈 쌤디 군의 랑제 안에 진바다 수준서바 준리 냠는제 안에 녀모베 녀보 시립기 녀보 동반이 또베 시랍 동반이 리베 시라 송지기 시랍데 냠수 렘발레 되네 안에 녀모바 가서 시립 바샤데 바시르 번거로와 디방에도 지침바 타르침바 연구 제가 이 전유쌤 매나이나 아니 진바도 추림다 아니 지기 다음에 봐도 베시라 동방이 또 베시라 가지고 콤바이네 타르바 톱투그레마도 산지고바 톱투고 말어 진짜 타르침바도 연구도 지침바도 연구 말해 지침바도 연구 말 타르침바도 연구 말 지침바선 타르침바스 그러와 진짜 타르침바도 빵바 타르도 토비아다 캠베인데 타르치바 캠바 캠바도 토비아디 연구 말아 진짜 디니기 영어야지 가르쳐 봐지네 장슈 셈기 냠수 렘베 장슈 셈기 심비도 안에 냠수 렘바 인자 냠수 렘바레 되네 아니 디용 투고를 지단 짐이 바차다 제바 빵 투고 시립도 빵 투고래 시립 빵어디 되네 안 타르침비게 빵바 타르침바다 켐바 타르도 베시디 투고래 지나디지 제자님의 켐보 세르밍다데 장슈 셈데다 장슈 셈기 왕게 니비 떡기 투고투고 바자 장슈 셈레 아니 님의 켐보
When a practitioner, a highly advanced practitioner, is engaging in practices such as ethics, generosity, patience, joyous perseverance, and concentration, as well as the wisdom realizing emptiness, they will be able to eradicate the afflictions together with their seeds, the obscurations to liberation, and bring a complete end to samsara. But that is as powerful as their wisdom can be, because their wisdom is powered by the virtue accumulated through acts of generosity, ethics, and so forth. But bodhicitta has not been generated. When bodhicitta has been generated, then the practitioner, now a bodhisattva, will engage in those same acts of ethics, generosity, patience, joy, perseverance, and concentration, and accumulate so much more merit, because those same practices or the same minds of generosity and so forth are conjoined with bodhicitta, and therefore have immense strength. In particular then, when the wisdom that directly realizes emptiness, when it is conjoined with bodhicitta, as it is in the continuum of a bodhisattva, that wisdom is able to not only eradicate the afflictions together with their seeds, the obscurations to omniscience, but also the stains of the afflictions. Only such wisdom, conjoined with bodhicitta, has the power to eradicate the slight trace that remains once liberation is achieved. And this then is what finally refers to this very last trace that leads to the state of perfection, where all good qualities are developed fully or completely or perfectly. And that is when the wisdom is now free of any trace of obscuring impediment. Then that wisdom becomes the omniscient consciousness of a Buddha.
재산 주의 치다 정벌 집이 뒤지 초도 교바디야 초도 교바 장주신들에서 재산 주의 우와 동아 가서 교부 강아 제 튠이 외제다 유지게 강하다 아니 지기 마싱베 강하 세와 제베게 아니 미세베 때려야 전심들이 해서 아니디 저기 내 좋았음자는 저기 동하게 내에 세와 제베게 라신이 내에 세와 제 맨이 초대야 전심들이 해서 다 좋아지게 아니 코알에 참제베 동하녀 강하 주시 디데 강하 세와 제베 탑 초도 규버디야 전심들이 해서 되네 네 Geshe 나시레 자주심들이 되네 저기 고외 동아의 균형모바 탐제제제 제제 안에 다르고 뭐 토바집에 탑 조도 규바디야 자주심들이 단 녀모바 바샤다 제바 방치네 타르치네 산교고 뭐 토바집이야 자주심들이 제산디니자 자주심들이 뒤제다고 안에 지게 미세베 때렸다고 안에 제맨 초나시 아니 준신 나신 아니 그 소리 내 지대 아니 다와 아니 진이바 첨부 선도시네 베두샤르시네 전시sem비기 개최다 연된 디게 도시마 지 전시sem디 다던다니 보들다 전시sem디 규례 개바 있나 현심적인 동화세야 전시sem디게 세고래 랑기 규 동화 녀모바 세주 탑잘라나며 토에다 전시sem이 지고래 현심적 탐주 동화 세제 타라상주고 뭐 토바지야다 전시sem이 지고래 사디 돈내니 보드 뒤셔는 signi디나 뒤로거다 어두신 전시sem기 연된다 개최다 뉴바다 되네게 어두 배시안에도 송로하다
So thus far, we've seen since the 29th verse a number of analogies for bodhicitta, showing its various qualities. So bodhicitta has been likened to an inexhaustible treasure that eradicates the lack of knowledge and skill of beings. It's been likened to bodhicitta too has been shown to have the capacity to eradicate the Lord of Death, so in other words, the afflictions together with their seeds. Bodhicitta has also been likened to a supreme nectar that can heal from all illnesses, again referring to the afflictions together with their seeds. And bodhicitta, as we've seen tonight, has been likened to a tree, easing suffering that beings experience, whether it's the suffering beings are experiencing within the realms of samsara as ordinary beings, or helping them gain freedom, complete freedom from suffering. Bodhicitta, we've also seen, can be likened to a bridge leading beings from the lower realms, and likened to the moon, which means it can, the bodhicitta can eradicate the obscurations to liberation. So again, the afflictions together with their seeds. And bodhicitta too has been likened to the sun, in that it's, when conjoined with the wisdom directly realizing emptiness, leads to the eradication of the obscurations to omniscience, and thereby the attainment of omniscience.
Dindingida donala janjusemdu chene janjusem yang 저게 janjusem 사디 지게 야샤 윤전으로 키슈다 하고 두고 말와다 미 janjusem 냠면 janjusem 규례기 되는데 호라지 냠용이 돈에 키슈 약보하고 두고와 제는다 계시 시발에 침벽이 janjusem이 편다 janjusem이 윤전의 뉴버틴 시오레스 제산 janjusem 제산 랑기 동아시아다 띵이 대와 탈도바 상요고 뭐 토바이네 janjusem 공발에 되는 고고래 janjusem 공고고래 제는다 신심전 탐제 원료 고방 거바다 거발이네 janjusem 공발에 되는 고투고래 janjusem 신심전 탐제 코르 동아를 줘야지 야 탈비 고방을 거봐야 janjusem 냠는 제발로 고투고래 제가 janjusem 냠는 제발네 신 원료 고방을 거야 나는 아성의 동안에 통문도 고발을 거야 코르 동아 타달을 줘야지 탈비 고방을 거야 아니 코르 동아 타달 줘야지 야뇽 바샤는 제발로 줘야지 야 상계성이 거바디야 시안리야 판도 줘야 돼 janjusem 될에 되는 거래스 진짜다 랑기 냠는 제네 아니 tar 상교고 뭐 토바디야 janjusem이 될에 되고 진짜 janjusem 딜에 사업의 연된 채월 간 요 말에 세디 진짜 janjusem이 연된 개최도 송에도 더 만두 신삼단 다시 되게 되네 약보들이야 janjusem이 개최다 연된의 통 janjusem이야 대박이 약보르샤 세베 대박이야다 진짜 janjusem 되다 톱지 마곰데 타병사 말에 전주심 냠내 제고도 새벽에 전주심 냠내 제게 톱되게 되게 뒷버기하게 된다라 대순고로 받아 지상한쪽에 전주심게 연대에 통 전주심도 톱고도 새벽에 되게 뒷버식심을 깨봐이나 다 전주심 톱에게 된다라 비주제 전용 비주 제바이나 전주심 규례기 투고로 니 된다라 당한쪽에 게시지와를 준비게 전주심이 계셔야 연대디게 연대 통 되는 돈이 뒷바퀴에 뒤토에 되는 냠는지에 돈다라 되는 간소리 디스 도스는 순고로와
So the section which started on the 29th verse is where Shantideva is reminding him, or repeating to himself the benefits of bodhicitta. Because these need to be known. Because if one knows the benefits of something, one will strive to achieve it. One will see it as worthwhile, worth the energy and the investment of time and energy that is required. So the purpose of this section here is Shantideva has just generated bodhicitta. So in the 23rd and 24th verse, I think, there the aspiring and engaging bodhicitta were generated. So now, as a new bodhisattva, the benefits of bodhicitta are restated as to this is the purpose now of having generated bodhicitta. So a lot of what's been said is a repeat of what was said in the first chapter, the benefits of bodhicitta. And here it's for the new bodhisattva to restate the purpose of their bodhicitta and therefore the purpose of being a bodhisattva. And the benefits for others, as has been mentioned in these verses, can come down to, through the bodhisattva generating bodhicitta, they can help others who are suffering in the lower realms. They can help ease their suffering and help them to cultivate the causes to gain rebirth in the higher realms. Moreover, the bodhisattva can help those in the higher realms to ease their suffering and torment and encourage them to cultivate the causes that will lead them to enter the paths of the Dharma. And moreover, the benefits for others is that the bodhisattva can help guide beings to gain liberation and even enlightenment. And then for the bodhisattva themselves, the benefits are that they will rapidly progress towards enlightenment. And enlightenment for the sake of others, well, there is no greater result for both the bodhisattva and others. Then the purpose of this section for ourselves is Shantideva here, by restating the benefits of bodhicitta, serves to remind us of the great benefits of becoming a bodhisattva and how worthwhile it is to develop a mind focused on cultivating bodhicitta within.
아니네 나도 난인보디 두시네 당한서네 다지 되네게 전주심되게 되네게 연대되게 삼다야다 되네게 전주심되 지게 당이한 전주심되 냠솔린제 전주심 규례 개발치기 샘비게 삼다장을 주의다 당한 주게 강토도 배수치 와야돼 대체거로 봐 이제 디나신데 베네 지준 잡아 건비기 베네 셰르싱기 나리아 근데 원바도 베기 스티나리아 전주심기 베망보전에 베다 조다 니슈자직 파자체네 디 유엔대 도스체네 송샤게 망부요래 지자디네게 전주심기 유엔대에 바도메바 제유에데 바래 지자 당한 주가 하고도 말바다
So for us, what I hope you take from these verses, from the 29th to now, is to strengthen your appreciation for bodhicitta, as well as for those who've actually generated it in their continuum, and most important, to give rise to a deep determination yourself to follow in their footsteps and generate bodhicitta yourself. So what's been presented here by Shantideva is just an abbreviated number of illustrations for bodhicitta. In Maitreya's Ornament for Clear Realization, 21 different analogies for bodhicitta are presented. So this is just an introduction. So thank you then. Thank you. Oh, Step on.
Just in the way the verses are expressed is a little bit ambiguous because there's never any singular or plural. And so the sense I got just at the end is I'm not really sure, but what I think is it more just 29 to 32 is really showing those stages, how beneficial bodhicitta is more for us to really attain that goal, even though, of course, any bodhicitta benefits yourself and others. Is it?
Geshe Thubten Rabten. Geshe Thubten Rabten. Geshe Thubten Rabten. Yahoo said the Gaokum shared. The Geshe Thubten Gaokum, Geshe Thubten Bendigo Pashi, and Bendigo Tondu, Geshe Nyamsulia, or that Bendigo Yahochi, Bendigo and the Yabading Kulaki, Simbege Tone, Nyamsu, Lambalaya, and the Jigge Gasulu, Dimbolmas on the children, and Simshul Mas and children, the Yungura, and as these were Jala Chuba. Le Jala News Havana, Turan Jala, Puda Shura, Kishu didn't your set Jaladia, Suzuki Tapu Yelia, Bessuche, Jala the Dinesia, Shara, the Yomarzan, and Jala Tapu Yagmarwa. She's not these are Chimbu Pashi, which didn't Kishu, didn't your city, Chanusem Gulakian Korongi, the Nigi Yamlin Helia, but Simshul Mas on the Parasine, Ningdor Mas get the social in the Nigi and the Yaputting it taught over the Dirina, Chigakitan Sebe. Nindo Parajeti di Sungurwa. Then around the Janusem Gula Mayan in the Nigo and then Tonje, Janusem, the young Givachi, the Nixon, that you can Mazla, Donia Dubaki, they gave me tablet, Bizuchi, Donala Sungurwa, that didn't need him.
The purpose of this section is twofold. So first, to put it in its context, so the Bodhisattva, the practitioner has now recently generated bodhicitta, so they're a new bodhisattva. So I think it's the 23rd and 24th verse where they generated aspiring and engaging bodhicitta. So now the bodhisattva is a new bodhisattva. Thereafter, they're expressing their great joy that something that they'd striven for so long, they finally achieved. And then I think it was the 28th verse where the Shantideva says something like, I'm like a blind person or a beggar who's found a jewel in a heap of garbage. How incredibly fortunate am I? So this was like the conclusion of those few verses on rejoicing. Having rejoiced at what the Bodhisattva has just done, now Shantideva is reminding of the purpose of reminding this new Bodhisattva how to put their bodhicitta to work. So these analogies show a wide way that the Bodhisattva needs to engage in a way that perhaps is far broader than they have ever thought before, benefiting beings in ways that would have seemed inconceivable before. So it's an encouragement to the new Bodhisattva to utilize this precious jewel that they have discovered in the most meaningful of ways. And then for how we are to relate to these verses is to serve as a reminder of what we looked at a year ago in the first chapter, where the various benefits of bodhicitta were mentioned. So for us, it's to generate, to rekindle our aspiration to strive to become bodhisattvas ourselves. So it serves that purpose for us as still aspirants to become bodhisattvas, and for the very new bodhisattva to encourage them to put their bodhicitta to work in a wide variety of ways, to benefit beings.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So thank you.